142, Justice for Tyrone West and all victims of police brutality. Tawanda, it's all you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. As I said, this is Western 42, and tonight we're hosting our special guest, cousin of William Green, that was brutally executed PG County, and the killer cop got off, and we're just devastated. So we're definitely wrapping our arms in support around this queen. And then I'm also excited to have my sister Latoya Bennett on here as well. She's doing a lot of things, and she's fighting for accountability like a warrior for her son. So Xavier. So yeah, so we're gonna play the video that we play every week, and we will be back in a few minutes. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Can't stop. Won't stop. Till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it?
Improper way with
There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it.
The profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record me. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardes Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
All right, we're back.
Thank you, sis. Yeah, so just me watching that video of, the incidents leading up to my brother getting murdered, literally 24 hours later, is very devastating, very heartbreaking. And for some reason tonight, it really hit me hard. Like it hits me hard all the time, but it was real devastated just now. And I think because the way my mind is set up and trying to wrap my mind around everything that's going on right now is very heartbreaking. And the reason why it's so heartbreaking, and I'm kind of glad that my camera is off right now, and the picture of me is up with my brother, because I'm like have a whole face full of tears. But the thing is, it's the failure on this dirty system that allows our loved ones to be brutally murdered by these violent repeat violent offenders. It's disgusting. And as I go just learning that my brother was like victim number 3, like literally there was Abdul Salam that happened 2 weeks before my brother was murdered. If they would have placed Maniac Ruiz on death duty and Chapman on death duty, then who knows? I honestly believe my brother would still be here. But then to literally think that 24 hours later, literally right after Abdul Salam was almost killed in his own neighborhood, there you have Darrell Harris. And the only thing that saved Darrell Harris is the fact that he had someone in that vehicle that definitely had his back and that was uploading it to the video. And all this was for traffic stops, like literally dealing with traffic stuff. Like Abdul Salam, they claimed that Abdul Salam did not have his seatbelt on, but then they pulled him out of his seatbelt pretty much. He had to unloosen it pretty much to be beat by Ruiz and Chapman and Omar, the first 3, at the scene, and then turn around literally days later, week and a half later, right before my brother, there was Darrell Harris, and you see the Maniac Ruiz that pretty much coming in to try to hurt and harm him, trying to scuffle him up. But then literally, there's my poor brother, 24 hours later, that didn't know anyone in that neighborhood, that had an acquaintance in the car that he wasn't too familiar with. Like, it's just sad and disgusting. But the fact is, let's keep the facts where it needs to be. The fact is, this system fails us. You have these violent maniacs, and they're violent repeat offenders. You give them full qualified immunity while they wreak havoc in our community, and then they come kill our loved ones, and then you let them off. It's just so disgusting. And I think, like I said, tonight I feel extra emotional because I had both of my sister queens on and the cousin William Bream, who was pretty much executed for pretty much a traffic accident, and you get executed. And then I have my sister, her son, was executed. And this is just like real heartbreaking and devastating. But no further ado, I'm going to bring up our sister Queen first. I'm going to bring up our sister Nikki first. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Hi, thank you, Tawanda. Thank you, my queen, Tawanda. I appreciate you bringing me and Latoya on tonight. I don't know. Do I need to talk louder or can you guys hear
Oh
me?
no, you're fine. You're fine. We can hear you clearly.
Okay. So, me and LaToya have been fighting. That's one thing that we both have in common. It's been a fight for us. On January 27th of 2020, my cousin Boo Boo, his name is William Green, but we call him Boo Boo, was murdered. He was in a car accident. He was removed from his vehicle, searched. Now I know he was searched twice. He was searched when they pulled him out of the vehicle. When they walked him over to the police car, he was searched again. They handcuffed him behind his back and put him in the police car. And the officer got in the car, my understanding based on trial, sat there for 20 minutes and then killed him. Shot 7 shots in the car.
Oh my God.
We've been waiting 4.5 years for some type of justice. And the case finally goes. The cop was arrested within 24 hours. He's been sitting in jail all this time. And we've been waiting. We've been patiently waiting. We've had to endure, starting in 2021, we've had to endure them trying to give him plea deals. The state's attorney, of course, got on television and lied and said that the plea deals were 10 years. They were not. He would only have to serve 5 years. All of the plea deals must serve 5. That was the wording. So he did not. It wasn't 10 years. They tried to give us a plea deal in 2021, 2022, and then they tried to sneak one through in 2023, which the judge rejected. And that's kind of where everything just went to hell. There's a lot of things that we found out. And during this trial, I can honestly tell you that even though they laid out a case for murder, it didn't even matter because the police gave them their case for murder. Michael Owen, his killer, gave them the case for murder. There was nothing to dispute the fact that he murdered my cousin. He came up with this what do you want to call it? They had a scuffle in the car. That didn't come about for 3 years. We never heard about any kind of a scuffle in the car, any kind of anything happening in that car at all for 3 years. And I don't believe there was anything that happened in that car, because if there was a scuffle in the car, if there was if he was violent towards that officer, and the officer actually said that my cousin was able to get his gun out of his locked holster and fire the weapon. Yet, if this was the story when this happened, don't you think they would have fingerprinted his weapon? Don't you think they would have done a gunshot residue test? Don't you think that they would have possibly had a ballistics test done? They did none of that. We did not hear about anything happening in that car until January of this year, when they called to tell us about the plea deal a week before they were gonna go to court for it. And they did that only because they were forced to do it, because they found out I was talking to the press about them hiding something from us. So they didn't voluntarily do it. They did it because they were forced to do it. And then the plea deal again must serve 5 years. And when we asked them, we told them we don't agree. We don't want this plea deal. They told us there's nothing we can do. They've already offered and he's accepted, and there's nothing we can do about it. Wow. This is what they said to us. And then they also, when I asked in this meeting, so for the hearing next week, should we show up? No, we'll tell you when to show up. So they basically tried to get us not to even show up to their plea hearing that they had scheduled, which of course I was showing up anyway. But, just the lies, the constant lies. Yeah. it did come to a point because of the support that I had, the ACLU, local activists, a lot of organizations pulled together to support us on this. We had a press conference, which of course Aisha then started to fear for her reputation. So then she decided to, be cordial towards us. Her goal was to try to silence us again, which it didn't work, but her goal was to silence us. But honestly, here's the thing. They didn't contact witnesses until 2023. My cousin was killed 2020. They had almost 4 years to prosecute this case. They did not even call the witnesses who were on scene until this year.
Shame.
When I asked what they thought was happening, they said, we thought they let him go. So they did not even start investigating. The only information they had, investigatory information, was from their expert witness Powers, because he did an initial investigation. So it was just, they did nothing. They had no plans to prosecute this case. And here's the thing. They laid out a case for murder. They're expert witnesses. Let me be clear. The expert witnesses that they called laid out a case for murder. And when I say they're expert witnesses, I mean the ballistics guy. I mean, not the ballistics. They didn't do ballistics, but the weapons guy, the holster guy, these experts, the CSI team, the entire CSI team laid the case out. The coroner laid the case out. Their expert witness on use of force laid the case out. But let me explain something. Let me be very clear to you. The part that Joel and that Jason, the prosecutors, played, I could have sat at that desk with Google and did a better prosecution than they did.
Wow.
There was a lot of things that they missed. They were very incompetent. They did not object to things they should have objected to. There was a lot of questions that they asked. This man got on there, sat up there and talked about an entire struggle that happened in this car. 5 to 6 seconds. His own partner said he did not see a struggle, and he said he passed the car within seconds of hearing the shots. Yet he said there was no struggle. This man said my cousin fought with him, struggled with him, knocked him with his shoulder. My cousin is 6'1", 250 pounds. Michael Owen is 6'3" or 4", 280 pounds. He's trying to say my cousin lifted himself up, hit him so hard that he hit the door and was paralyzed. And then when he looked down at the gun, my cousin had the gun pointing at his gun. His gun flew out of his locked holster there was no damage to his holster. It's a 2-part holster where you got to do 2 moves to open it. They said it was virtually impossible for that gun to fly out of that holster. But he said all of this. He lied about his partner's behavior. And the thing is the prosecutor had all this on video. There's video. They did not even show all the video. There is probably over an hour's worth of video. They did not show but maybe 2 minutes, if that, of video. There was video that would have exonerated him. There was actual evidence that would have exonerated him. They did not do any of that. They did not question his story about the 5 or 6 second struggle. There was just, they questioned nothing. And there's a lot of things that they could have actually questioned about it. He contradicted what his partner said. He contradicted what the witnesses said. He contradicted the video. He contradicted the experts. He contradicted everything everyone said. And guess what? He did not pull back up video. He did not pull back up evidence. He did not call anybody back up to the stand to counter what he said.
Wow.
Not one person.
Yeah. That's terrible, sis. That's terrible. And I just want to interject real quick just to say, to me, it's not even a matter of them being incompetence. They're doing this stuff deliberately to get these killers off. And the stuff that you said, and I just want everybody to hear and make their own, just like with your cousin, they claimed a struggle ensued and all this foolishness. And that's the same thing that they did with my brother. They said my brother was fine. Mind you, he was handcuffed and everything. He was fine sitting down on the curb until they noticed a bulge of drugs in his socks. And then after they noticed the ball of drugs and they pulled it from his socks or whatever. And then my brother said something along the lines about, "You gonna lock me up for this measly stuff," which my brother don't even talk like that, but dead people don't talk. And then they said that's when the struggle pursued, and that's when my brother some type of way. And like, first of all, how you gonna say y'all had him handcuffed and he was sitting there complying, but then you turn around and say, "Oh, at this point his handcuffs wasn't on," and brother tried to poke them in his eyeball and reach for his gun, like foolishness. So that's all real quick, just to let everybody know how they try to paint our loved ones out. And it's a whole, like, they can't even lie straight. But you can go ahead, my sister queen.
I would just like to say that I honestly think they watched the Three Stooges and come up with these scenarios, because that
Yeah.
sounds what your brother did, and it actually sounds like what they said Boo Boo did. It's just, I mean, for me, it's just the lies. Like, there's so much about, like, I could spend hours on here explaining to you guys the information that I had prior to this case, the lies that they have told us throughout this case. But let me be clear about the reason why I would like to submit his case to the DOJ. I would also like to file a complaint against the prosecution of this to the DOJ and probably several other agencies, simply because and I've talked to several attorneys about this because I wanted to clarify that I'm not crazy. So, if my cousin would have shot Michael Owen, they would have thrown every damn charge in the book.
Everything. Yep.
They would have thrown everything and said, one of these is going to fit. So here's the thing. They did not press the right charges on this man. There's two types of, like, second degree murder. There is depraved heart murder, which is what this case was. And then there was intentional murder, which is you intentionally killed someone, like you had a motive and you killed them. And they only did the intent. Well, you don't know what his motive is. They wouldn't give me the police report, and they didn't use the police report in the as evidence either. But here's the thing. You didn't even say that. He told his own partner. His partner asked him what happened. He said, he tried to get my gun and I did what I had to do. So at no point did you ever mention a struggle or anything else until 2023. See, this is what you told everybody. Now, you press one type. Now, the judge actually stated that these charges were bizarre, unusual, and that he's never seen them filed this way, because they lock themselves into one theory, which is not what you do when you press murder charges. You throw whatever you can at them. So you put across every theory, unless you've done a thorough investigation. Depraved heart is the majority of second degree murders in Maryland. So why would you not add that to the Now, here's the thing. As you're building your case and you realize that this fits depraved heart, you had almost 4 years to submit that evidence to the grand jury to add that charge before this trial. They did not. At any point in time, when they realized this is the case you're building, this is what this is, they could have submitted the evidence to the grand jury and had the charge added to him. They did not. At no point during the trial, the defense attorney tried to get the whole case, get him acquitted of the case, because it was depraved heart murder, and they did not indict him on that. So I know why they found him not guilty, and I do not fault the jury. I do not think the jury was wrong. The jury did what they had to do. They had to follow the instructions. They had to follow the rules. They had to look at the charges that they actually pressed against him and say, do this case fit those charges? And it did not. So they did exactly what they needed to do. I don't fault the jury. Who I fault is Aisha Braveboy and her office, because you are supposed to be the experts. And you did not find, this is a very high profile This was a very high profile trial in your county. This was a very important trial. Everybody was watching this trial. You had one job and you did not do it. And what pisses me off more, she thinks we're too stupid to realize what she did. You don't think I sat in that court every day. I heard the judge. I heard the motions. The judge said, I've never seen charges filed like this before. This is bizarre. It's unusual that you would lock yourself into one theory.
Wow.
They filed charges with intent to let him get off on this murder. They knew this was depraved heart. They knew it. But yet, the theory that you put forth in the indictment, you didn't even build your case around it. How do you put something in an indictment but don't build your case around that? So, oh no, they had no intentions of putting this man in jail, but they think I'm too stupid not to know that. Oh no, I know what you did. And I'm gonna make sure I fix what you did. And in the process of fixing what you did, I'm gonna make sure that you can never do this to another family and that you never let another killer out of jail. Everyone keeps talking about the crime rate is bad and they want to blame the police. Well, if the police arrest them and she don't prosecute them, what the fuck is the police supposed to do? So my thing is they can bring them there, but if you keep letting them out, whose fault is that? So in this case, and the thing is I'm aware of her plea dealing, dropping charges, letting people go. I'm aware that she is a shitty ass state's attorney. But I thought she would get this right. But what she did was intentional. There is no way you can be a state's attorney. Now, here's the thing. She's never tried a case in court ever in her entire life. So the fact that you can't recognize when your own employees make a mistake and have them corrected, that's a sad case and you shouldn't be in your position. The fact that everybody in your office is too stupid to realize what was going on and fix it after 4 years, you're all incompetent. You all should be removed. None of you should be there. And maybe the crime rate in Prince George's County will actually improve when the state's attorney actually start prosecuting people and holding them accountable for what they do. So while everybody keep having these crime summits and having all these, okay, what are we going to do about the children? What are you going to do about the state's attorney? You can take them off the street. You can arrest a criminal, but if you don't prosecute them, what is there to do but let them go? So no, she's not doing her job. No one in her office is doing the job. And I don't even know how she got the job. She's absolutely ridiculous. I watched this lady lie in my face, smile in my face. I actually took time to go sit and talk to her one-on-one to get her to understand the importance of this case. And she smiled in my face all the time. And I didn't trust her. The thing is when I was talking about her personal life, she was perfectly comfortable when I'm asking her about herself. But when I started asking her about her job, it was all politics. She put on the whole political face. So at that point, I don't trust you. I knew not to trust you because I know this is just a show to you. And that's exactly what that whole trial was. It was a show. They knew that he wasn't going to get prosecuted. And I know he wasn't going to get prosecuted. But the thing is you don't know that I know. But I know. And she also, her press conference afterwards, you have the other. She has a lot of audacity. She has a lot of audacity. Don't go out there and blame us. And she said that I didn't blame the family. No, you did, because you said the plea deal should have been respected. I didn't respect your fucking plea deal, and neither did the judge. So when you said that, you were talking about me and my family, and you were talking about that judge.
Wow.
We did not respect your plea.
That's disgusting.
So
that is disgusting. She reminds me of Marilyn Mosley, because I feel like that's all that stuff you said. And we had like a big high profile case of Freddie Gray. Like you put all these bogus ass charges that you knew wasn't going to stick. It was just like you were buying time, like they buy time. So we as people won't pull together and shut it down, shut it completely down.
Exactly.
Like they fear. So meanwhile, they trial is bull crap. The Doug and Pony show to just kind of calm us, make us to believe that they're gonna do something. And meanwhile, the killers get off, or the
Exactly.
killer get off. It's
Exactly.
disgusting.
Oh no, it's killers. Okay, because just like
Yeah.
the guy that killed your brother, this was not his first murder. He had brutalized multiple people. There are multiple lawsuits. They've settled so many lawsuits, and they still have more. This man is a terrorist.
Wow.
He should not be on the police
Sound like
force.
Louise.
He is currently under federal indictment for some other shit. He was also involved in another case that they had where Angela let go of it, but where Aisha let go of a bunch of people that she should have prosecuted, talking about it's an internal problem. No, it's not. What they were doing was a crime, and you should have prosecuted them for a crime. Oh, he's a snitch. He gonna tell on everybody. And that's why they're worried, because there's a lot that he knows and he's willing to talk. And that's why he's now sitting in Pennsylvania with his family. That's why.
That's disgusting. But that's disgusting. But this shows you how this capitalist system don't give a damn about us. That's why I say it's no justice. It's just us. They're worrying about foolishness. But meanwhile, you can murder and kill, be brutal with your murder, and they do nothing. But then the feds want to hold you for some foolishness. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's like a smack in the face. And it just makes me think like everybody's in a bed together, because one of the killers, Ruiz, the one that we highlight on this video, even though I want all 17 of those murdering, stinking animals. So they're not, just because I always talk about Ruiz, in case that one of them are tuning in right now, listening, I want all of y'all. I want every last one of y'all involved. And I'm going to get y'all. I don't give a damn how many years it takes. But my whole point is, Ruiz is actually married here in Baltimore City to the state's attorney. So how, like, that is so freaking crazy to me. Michelle Battle, she works in the state's attorney's office, and then we wonder why we can't get a freaking a case. We can't even get ours presented in front of a damn judge. They keep sweeping it under the rug. It's ridiculous.
And that's what they do. It's like you had it, I really do feel like she had an opportunity to actually show that, okay, yeah, we are going to prosecute cops. Like, there is a limit to what they can do. And she didn't. The fact that she got on TV and brought up my cousin's PCP use, which, let's be very clear, there was never a drug expert in that trial. They never even discussed his PCP. The only person who brought up his PCP was Michael Owen. He was the only one that brought up the PCP. He said he smelled PCP. Yeah, I doubt that very much, because his partner was right there. He was at the car longer than Boo Boo with him, and he asked his partner, "Don't you smell PCP?" He's like, "No, I don't smell it." He asked him a couple of times, no.
Wow.
There's a lot of things that they should have dove a little deeper in. My cousin had a PCP charge years ago, like 10 years ago, something like that. And I just think he saw that, and that's why he decided to say that. But my thing is, you walked up there with preconceived notions. You walked up there with information about my cousin that you actually tried to convince your partner of. And when he didn't go for it, you continued to use that as a reason in court, which, of course, again, PCP never, ever came up in this case. Your cousin was on PCP, none of that, until January, when they came up with the struggle. Nothing, never.
Yeah, that's always.
They never had a drug expert that explained the use of PCP. When you stopped my cousin, he was passed out. You had to do a sternum rub on him to get him up. He was lethargic. Y'all had to literally hold him up to search him. And then when you got him to the car, you searched him again. And because he was so unsteady, you were only able to do like around his belt. You weren't able to do the full body pat down, simply because he was not steady on his feet. But yet you're telling me for not even 5 to 6 seconds. Let's be very clear. He killed my cousin immediately. He killed my fucking cousin immediately. He shot him in his heart. His heart was destroyed. He bled inside of his fucking body. My cousin did not bleed out. My cousin bled in, which means you killed him and you continue to shoot. If his heart was beating, that blood would have been on the outside of his body. My cousin did not bleed out. His bullet wounds did not have blood coming from them because he bled internally.
That is so terrible, sir.
Immediately.
They're animals. And then another thing, like you said, I'm glad you brought up the point about a struggle. So whenever there's a struggle, and it's always the same game, just a different victim name, they'll say a struggle, and then they try to make it seem like, that the person was on drugs because they lied and said my brother, they found cocaine in my brother's system. First of all, I put that on everything I love my whole entire life. My brother and his whole entire world have never ever indulged in any cocaine or anything. Let's be crystal clear. The only thing my brother choice was when he could, and that was smoking marijuana, which is legal right now. That is it. The end. But then you sit up there and you, after you murder my brother, they pretty much gave him Novocaine, something that you would give somebody to have an overdose of foolishness. But that way, that stuff could be tested in my damn brother's bloodstream. Like, they are sick and twisted, and
Yes,
it's just sickening. But real quick, sis, I want to see if Rachel, because you have the board blowing up right now. I want Rachel to read some of the comments, and then I want to bring our sister Queen, Latoya, to see if there's anything that she want to say about herself. So, Rachel, do you mind reading the comments that's online real quick, please?
Yeah, not at all. So the first one is from Bill Bleish. Can't wait to hear the inspiring words tonight by very strong fighters against police terror. AC Britt says mic check. Lo Diaz says we can hear you. AC Britt says sending light and love to William Green and his family. And prosecutors are part of the cover-up team every time. Judah says mic check. AC Britt says incompetency runs through every state attorney's office. It seems purposeful, disgusting. So William was both a magician and contortionist? Nikki, have you done a Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA request for the entire investigative file on your cousin's case? So that's actually a question that she asked. I don't know if
I haven't, but we will be requesting all documents from the trial and for the case.
Okay.
I still haven't gotten a police report. They refuse to give us a police report.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what they do. And they withheld stuff from my brother's stuff as well. They withheld the police report, everything. I'm talking about for like 2 years before we got anything. Like, they're disgusting. Then one of our I see my sister AC Britt said that they had Tyrone with Novocaine in the ambulance. They said, which, why would you hit him in the ambulance with the Novocaine when he was dead on Kentmore and Kelsway? He was gray, they said. Witnesses said he was gray because they let David Keller Lewis sat on my brother's neck after he was pepper sprayed, kicked, tasered, tortured for over 18 minutes. And then they let this 340-pound maniac, David Lewis from Morgan State University, put his knee in my brother's back and his foot on my brother's neck until my brother was dead. So why in the hell would you be putting anything on other than a black sheet on my brother inside of a goddamn ambulance?
Yeah, if you look at the video, which they didn't show, but I have, yeah, they tried to give him first aid. There was no first aid. He was dead. They didn't even realize they had gauze. It was not even, there was no blood. There was no blood to stop. So
wow. Disgusting. So at this point, Sister Queen, hold tight. I want to bring our Sister Latoya into the conversation. Mic check.
Mic check. Tawanda, I don't think that they finished reading all the comments yet. They just stopped to hear Nikki's answer to that question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's totally fine. I'll finish up the rest really quickly. AC Britt said they seem to have a script that they pass around to use as their defense. Inexcusable. Hillary says, sounds like they deliberately put inexperienced prosecutors on this or made a choice not to prosecute seriously. This system is set up not to prosecute cops. AC Britt says, the police and prosecutors follow the same playbook across this sick country. She sounds exactly like Marilyn Mosby. Brave Boy and also Brooks don't belong in any position of power with their complicit approach to dealing with these traumatic events. And if you get the investigative file, you'll see that a tactic they use is to do background checks on the victim and even witnesses that step forward. They always villainize the victim. Atrocious. Bill says, my sense is that the state's attorney put inexperienced prosecuting lawyers on this case purposely. That way, their office could give the false impression that they're fighting for accountability, but in reality, they were working to achieve an acquittal for killer cop Owen. They're slick. They're enablers of police terror, and they're a spoke in the wheel of a system that needs police brutality to try instilling fear and passivity in the working class, especially among the potentially strongest leaders in the fight for a better world, Black and brown folks, who've been slapped in the face more severely than anyone else. AC Britt says, not Novocaine, it was Narcan. They hit Tyrone Narcan in the ambulance. They gave Tyrone Narcan in the ambulance. That's it.
Wow. Thank you. And thanks for cleaning it up. And thanks for everybody for commenting. Yeah. And so, Rachel, we're ready to bring on our sister queen, Latoya. Bring her into the conversation. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Hi, Latoya. Are you there, sweetie?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. So, yeah, the floor is all yours. Bring
Well,
you
I just
into the
want to
conversation.
real fast chime in on Nikki's case as well with her cousin William, and
Yeah.
also the comments people are making too, because I feel like too, it's not a matter of even them being slick. I think it's a matter of that's what they're normally doing, and because we the people, we haven't been like paying attention to the inside of the system, they keep getting away with the shit. And until we actually, begin paying attention to like these DAs, like, the DA, they are elected officials. So the same way they got elected in there, we got to get their asses out of there because they're not doing the job. We have to begin teaching our people how to educate ourselves to get those things done. So I definitely want to speak on regards to that. And that's about, and voting and stuff like that. So, yeah. But hey, Nikki, as well.
Hey, love you.
I love you even more. So just real fast, I wanted to talk about Xavier as far as Zay's case is concerned and what's going on with the case right now. For those who are listening, Xavier is my son. He was killed by Virginia State Police January the 9th, 2021 at the age of 18. We are currently in the process of appealing Xavier's case. Whether it be you're filing a civil case or you have a criminal case, qualified immunity is what's, getting these officers off on both ends. So we're currently in the appeal process. My lawyer had until the 7th of December to respond to the defendant's side, and we're just now waiting for the appellate judges to see, what they're going to say or not, and then we can move forward with Xavier's trial. So it'll be 3 years coming up on January the 9th, 2024, which is kind of crazy to me. Yeah, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sister Queen. Yeah, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And that is just like horrible. And my heart always goes out to you. And, because I know how it feels to lose like a brother. And unfortunately, our sister Nikki knows how it feels to lose a cousin. And I know that feeling as well, too. But I never, ever want to know the feeling of losing.
Uh-oh, Tawana, I think you cut out on us.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, no, I was saying, my heart really goes out to you. Like, I know how it feels to lose like a big brother who was like a father figure. He was my everything. And just like our sister Nikki fighting hard for her cousin, I know how I feel to lose a cousin because I just lost my cousin like 2 years ago. And that it's so devastating. Like, that was all my family is dear to me. So, but it's just the fact that to lose your child, like, I never ever want to phantom no pain like that. And I just like my head goes off and my heart goes out to all of us just for like the pain that we're enduring and the strength to just kind of fight it. And can you also tell people about like what you got going on to like to help the other families and whatnot? Because you definitely got a platform that actually gives everybody a voice as well.
Absolutely. So because of Xavier actually was my only child. So I don't have any other kids. So I feel like his spirit is what keeps me driven every day in order to fight for justice. I had a horrible time trying to find an attorney, when Xavier first got killed, which caused me to go ahead and file his case per se. I filed pro se. I currently do have 2 attorneys now, but you're talking about after I've already spent literally $63,000 in legal fees. So literally, and I have all the receipts for that. And people are like, "You're lying." I'm like, "No, I got all the cashier's checks to prove it." Now, what makes me upset is that, you know, and I don't like to say the word I'm blessed, because I am blessed, right? But I hate to say it. I don't like to say because it doesn't make sense that you have to be quote unquote blessed, or you got to have resources to fight the justice system or the legal system. That's where it's wrong at, period. Oftentimes, you know, these crimes happen in low poverty communities where they don't have the funds in order to do so. So therefore, we've created a podcast that comes on every Tuesday. It's called Life After the Impact. We're not only highlighting the stories that we'll have with families, but we're trying to figure out, how do we get into these buildings in order to make actual change? We can protest all the time, you know, that's fine, but I don't want to be outside in the cold talking to a brick wall. I want to be inside. If we get these elected, they're elected for a reason, so we're paying our tax dollars for their salaries. Why do I have to make an appointment and see you, and then I can't see you in regards to my case? That has to stop. And far too often we let these things just happen. We're not doing anything about it. So we've created Life After the Impact. It is a 501c organization. The purpose of that is to create actual legal aid, not legal aid for these just high profile cases, but for all the cases. Everyone should have the opportunity to fight for justice and accountability, no matter how much it costs. Because life, there's no cost on life, right? So you should be able to give them that option as in the same thing. And oftentimes families, we don't get that opportunity, so we don't fight. Because we don't fight, we can't create case law. We don't have case law, so therefore we can't make change. So again, they're not slick. They know what the hell they're doing. And because they've been doing the same shit for years and we ain't trying to change the shit, they keep doing it. So our purpose of Life After the Impact is to make an impactful change, not just for Xavier, not just for Boo Boo, not just for Tyrone, but for everybody, so this shit can stop.
Yes, I definitely agree, Queen. And I just thank you. I'm sorry, what you saying? Yeah, amen. Absolutely. Like, it's just sickening and it's heartbreaking. But again, I'm just so proud of both of y'all for just like keep on fighting, never, wavering and just coming strong as you can. Like while they didn't realize when they took our loved ones, they brought a beast out in us that they never expected. Like they must have lost their mind. Like they should have did their research not only on our loved one, but they should have did their research on us. They should have did their research on us. And it's just saying, like you said, like some family members don't have like money and things of that nature. And it was sad that I had to actually get in my own money, like go in my own pocketbook, no GoFundMe, 50,000 plus to actually have my brother's body exhumed from the ground while a freaking civil lawsuit case was being presented. And then it's just funny how at first, before I did this, they were only trying to offer, which is never about the money. It's always about the outcome of these cases. I always be clear in saying this, but the fact that before they knew I had money in my pocketbook, they were trying to offer my brother kids $150,000, but yet you give $1 million, $1.5 million for a Doug. A Doug got killed by a killer cop for a white family. Doug got killed by a cop. And you give them $1.5 million, but yet you want to offer my family $150,000. But then when I went in my pocketbook, then now y'all want to take it up to $1 million. But y'all could have took it up to billions, all that. All the money in the world will now bring our loved ones back, so y'all could take it and stick it where the sun don't shine. But at the same time, you owe us. That's what you owe. You took our loved ones from us. You cannot replace them with money. But at the same time, if you kill me and I'm sitting up there taking care of my children, you took that from them. So you owe my family that. You're not doing us no goddamn favor. I just want to be clear about that.
That's right.
I like to explain to people, like, because people want to question, well, they gave you your family $20 million. I wouldn't care what they gave my family. People don't understand, like, if and I explain it this way. If my cousin would have walked in McDonald's and their employee that was taking his order shot him dead, we would have sued McDonald's. We would
Right.
not have
right.
hesitated because you are going to pay for the crime that your employee committed
Yes.
against our loved ones. But
It's
the
no
Right.
criminal
difference.
case is nothing connected. That is the state. The state needs to hold
Yep.
him accountable for what
Mm-hmm.
he did.
Right.
But you
Mm-hmm.
need to pay for your employee's mistake. And that's plain and clear. I don't know why they don't think these cities, states, and counties should be held responsible for what their employees do. Because
Mhm.
people would not
Mhm.
blink an eye if we sued McDonald's. People would not blink an
Mm-hmm.
eye if somebody from
Mm-hmm.
AT&T came to our house and killed us. They wouldn't blink an eye if we sued them. But when you sue the police, they be like, it's all about the money. To me, I'm like, yes, it's all about the money because they owe us for what their employee did. But it's not our
Mhm.
job to make sure that the state prosecutes. Like totally and
Right.
completely different. So
Right.
people have
Mhm.
to see, they don't understand. It doesn't matter the amount of money that they pay. It will never bring your loved one back. So
Exactly.
but the thing is they are responsible for that
They
loss
are
and they need to
responsible.
pay for that loss. Plain and
That's
simple.
right.
It's never about the money. It's about your employee committed a crime against our loved one.
It's principle. It's about principle, period.
Exactly.
It's
And
about
they
principle.
don't blink an eye. If a white person, do you know how many people sue people? They don't blink an eye until it's the
That's right.
police. Then they want to
Yep.
say shit. And it's like y'all got if I was trying to sue Boeing, if I was trying people getting in plane accidents, don't they sue them? Yes. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to kind of get it right. And the thing is until you are in our position, don't question our position. When your ass is
Right.
sitting there, you're going to sue their ass too.
And just
Right.
like I never forget when I met with Catherine Pugh, she was the mayor at the time before she got exposed for our Healthy Holly foolishness. Literally, she sat down and she invited us to breakfast at City Hall. We're sitting there and she didn't know I had a surprise for her because she acted like at first she didn't remember who the hell I was, but before she walked in the office, she had the nerve to show up at a West Wednesday and she was saying how she was amazed by the way I fight for my brother. And then if she ever was to get in the office, she would definitely call for a thorough investigation, all the politics and foolishness. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Then she said how she was going to give everybody in the city like the $15 minimum wages because she know that plays a part in the poverty situation. All this food, and she was the first one. Once she got in the office, she forgot who the hell Tyrone West was, who the hell Tawanda Jones was, and she forgot about the $15. She even vetoed that bill. So this is what the foolishness they do. But the fact that when I sat down to meet with this wench, she had the nerve, excuse me for disrespecting the elderly person, but she disrespected my family first because she's sitting at the table eating her steak and her eggs. She goes, after she had reading about where she knew me from and where she, oh yeah, I remember. She was like, oh, your family, y'all did get accountability. I said, when, what I missed, what I died, went to heaven and came back, like what I missed, because we damn sure didn't. She was like, oh yes, y'all did. She was like, I just signed up on the money that your family got, the monetary something. I said, that ain't no goddamn. I said, do this look like accountability? And when I say I wanted this wench eggs and steak, I pulled out a brother. I said, do this look like accountability, miss? And she almost barfed her eggs. I was crying. Her face wench. But that's just like at the point they want to judge us in this capitalist system, want to say, oh, accountability when it comes to money, when they kill and slaughter us. No, that's no damn accountability. That's nothing. That's an insult.
It is. And like you said, again, we think a lot of times that these so-called, like you said, politicians or politicians, they are in office to so-calledly make change, and they'll get right into that seat and they'll do nothing for these families, yo. Nothing. And we gotta stop making that change. So the whole point of having life after the impact is to, find these right people who actually, and even some of these activists out here doing the exact same thing, they're not actually doing the right cause. We gotta find the root of the problem and fix that shit. That's all we're gonna be able to stop this.
And
and I agree with you, sis.
Let me explain Maryland, how shitty they are. So when my cousin passed away, me and my husband paid for his funeral. And they have this victim assistance that you can,
I'm familiar with it.
get money. So I submitted this in 2020. Do you know until they got busted earlier this year trying to give him that plea deal, that they did not pay me out? And then they questioned my child, I'm like, here, we paid over $15,000 for his funeral. So my thing is, here you go. They was like, do you have any other costs? Yeah, but they exceed what you're going to pay me anyway, but here you go. Girl, do you know they refuse to pay me the full amount just in case somebody else submits a claim?
Nikki, speaking of victims assistance, even this goes back to why we're doing the foundation. I was told my son was not a victim. So imagine you calling a district attorney's office, because the district attorney's office, they're the ones who are overseeing that, victim assistance program. So I called and I said, what do I just wanted to know, because the funeral's already paid for, but I wanted to know what was I supposed to be offered as a citizen of Virginia at the time. The DA told me my son was not a victim. I said to him, so what was he?
Wow.
He says, Ms. Benton, what did you want?
Exactly.
And he hung up on me.
He's not here anymore. The officer is here. So who's the victim?
The officer's here.
Because there's a victim. When there's somebody's dead, there's a victim. And that officer's still here. So
there you go. But any kind of victim services was not offered to my family. And
that's disgusting.
What I'm finding is that a lot of families who, when they are trying to, a lot of families don't get victim assistance, period. And it's like, yo, how can you not even offer us any kind of like therapy, counseling? Y'all don't offer us shit. Nothing. And then expect us to go back to normal. Nah, that's not gonna happen.
Well, they didn't even get us like an advocate. I guess you're supposed to have a family advocate whenever you go to court. You're supposed to have a family. Do you know until this year we didn't have one? And then when I asked, so how come you didn't assign us someone in 2020? Well, your attorney. So I called my attorney. I was like, they said that you said don't assign this one. And he was like, I don't do that. He's like, we can't legally even do that. So they just lie. When I say they lie like a rule, they lie.
Oh yeah, they lie. They definitely lie. And then it's the stinking government that works together, because all this stuff hand in hand and connected. And then even in Maryland, like when like their victim services, like, which I did take advantage of the Roberta House, but I didn't even know it was a part of their victim service, because they didn't help do anything. Bless my daughter, bless my niece, my daughter's I'm gonna keep saying my daughter, but my brother's daughter, his eldest daughter, she paid for out of her own pocketbook, and ain't nobody do no GoFundMe, but she paid almost $1,000 to have my brother, things of that nature. So bless her heart. But the fact that they did nothing, but then when I went to the Roberta House, that's a part of the state's attorney's office. And then like when I try to talk about, the killer cops that murdered my brother, they're in the same breath giving me counseling, which I needed, which I had an excellent counselor, but people within that circle are trying to tell me, oh, well, forgive the officers. And that's good. No, don't tell me to do the hell forgive you. I lost your damn mind. Don't tell me I'm not going to call them. I'm going to call them out in you. Stop playing with me. Like, that's so right. It's real. Like, it's real. It's real in the field. It's really real.
It's crazy. I called that place for that's really wild you're talking about that place. I called them. We had a live event in DC, and I was calling them again, trying to just network and trying to figure out who could we send families to when these things happen. I talked to the lady on the phone. She got my information. I sent her over an email to Roberta's house. Never heard back from her.
Wow.
That's because they're politically funded. So the fact that they're politically funded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They work. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I said. That's and that's the capitalist system. Like that was it. And then they so politically funded that the fact that when Charles Barkley came in and we had to give him a touch of reality, like you're not going to be there no matter how much of a superstar or whoever you are, you're not going to be there talking about the police make a split second to make a decision and talking about taking our loved one's life. Like, so we definitely tore him a new butthole. But I was just thankful they picked my brother's story up. But the fact that the Roberta House was already connected to him, like, oh, well, y'all can come here and watch a therapy session. I'm like, they all work hand in hand. They think we stupid. They really did.
And you saying that cops, let me explain, in the actual instructions, because, they have to talk about the instructions they'll allow. This shit-ass prosecution office allowed them to add instructions that cops only have a split second to make decisions. They had them consider a video that no one could confirm ever existed as missing evidence.
Wow.
No one could confirm that they accused me of having the video and not turning it over as evidence. But the thing is when she gave us the videos, the cops came and took her phone. So if anyone took those videos, it was the police. And if anyone didn't turn it over, it was the police. So my thing is if the police had something to exonerate one of their own, they would have handed it over. They would be playing it on a loop on CNN, but they did not. But they actually allowed that video, which the girl who took the video couldn't even confirm that it actually existed. They actually took that video, allowed them. They did not object to them considering that missing evidence.
Wow. And then I'm glad you said that, sis, because there were witnesses, several witnesses on the scene of my brother's execution, and one being a male that took the whole entire 35 to 45-minute video. Mind you, the very next day after they killed my brother, at the time it was Commissioner Betts, him and his whole team of officers was up there knocking on everybody in Kitmore, Kelway door, asking, demanding video footage, pictures, and everything, and they turned them over. And to this day, we have never, even through the Public Information Act, through different requests, we have never obtained any video footage of my brother being executed. None. They hid it under the rug. They hid it, and that's what they do. And sis, I'm glad you're here. Like, and just to let you know, like, so we don't just like protest in the cold and just like we shutting down City Hall, Town Hall meetings. We go in there being part of the table. Like all last week, me and the West Coalition, my family, we were out there at Town Hall meetings, at City Hall. We fighting for local control. Like, so you have to be on their heels, and we are on their heels. So wherever they are, that's where we're at. I just want to be clear. That's where, that's the place to be. I don't give a damn if we work. You know, I work Monday through Friday, a 9 to 5, every day teaching. I don't give a damn if I'm tired, dragging in. I'm gonna be at that goddamn meeting. I'm gonna be at that meeting. I'm gonna be there.
So, I think part of the problem, what I'm finding is that how do we change it where it's not like that, just only in certain areas, right? Like how we don't just have these like these hot pocket areas where we know it's happening. We got people who have boots on the ground, so we're gonna be at these meetings. So how do we make it so that the community's at the meeting too, where it's not just us? How do we make it so that the community catches on fire and they understand? We in these meetings for a reason. We're not just there, you know what I'm saying, to be seen.
Exactly.
Y'all gotta understand to be out here.
So what
they hold their little town halls and all that, and they give you a piece of paper. Write your questions. Right. You literally have to just scream. And to be like, not like one, we had to completely shut down. Like we just had to start, and they were live streaming it. So of course, when we started telling them, asking them questions out loud because they refused to answer the questions that we submitted. And then we started letting people know like what they were doing. Oh, they stopped the live stream, everything. Hustle also Brooks out the building and Aisha out the building. Oh yeah.
And so what I normally do is not only, and that's why I always make it so I go on live stream on Facebook. Like when we find out a flyer, we share it. You get what I'm saying? Like, and we let them know. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time too, we got to be safe, because every time I show up at a town hall meeting driving my own car, like when we went to go shut down Prejudice Worley, Ratchet Worley, Worthless Worley, we went to go shut him down. Not only did he get my car tire hit, he got the guy that normally hosts West Wednesday. His car tire was hit at the same time, cut the exact same way my car tire was cut. Like, sending a strong message, but that ain't stop us.
They just check on me. So we went to this town hall. So first of all, they're talking, there was a community meeting. It was right next to, it was in a community center. So people are coming in, dropping off their kids at the basketball. We're asking them, are you coming to this town hall, this community meeting? They had no idea. The parking lot was full of police. There was people outside and they're like, what's going on? They would not let them in. They said you had to pre-register. We went in there, you could do cartwheels, backflips, and a whole triple axle. It was not packed. They could have fit them in there, but they told them no. So they stopped the community from coming in. They're horrible. And then a cop we got into it with some police outside. When they found out who I was, they was one of them he runs the K9 unit for Prince George's County, little short dude with a whole lot of complex. He was like telling me, I grew up in Prince George County, and even I'm scared to go out there sometimes. And I told him, well, you in the wrong profession, sir. If you are scared to go out and patrol your own neighborhood, then you need to find another profession, because we don't need scared cops with guns sitting out there. This motherfucker was so offended by the things I said to him. He ran my plates. So the next time I saw him at another meeting, he was like, I don't even understand why she's here. She don't even live up here. And she lives in a predominantly white neighborhood. And I'm like, hold on.
Wow.
How you know where I live? Because I ain't never got pulled over by Prince George's County Police. So explain to me how you know where I live. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They do some
dirty.
They dirty. I told him, I said,
they real dirty.
I was like,
I'm telling you what says they sent state troopers, and I had to share, and I exposed their ass every time. They sent state troopers to knock on my door, talking about they was investigating. Do I know where any drugs or guns? Mind you, I don't even live in that type of neighborhood. I moved like the first day I moved and bought my home. I'm like, whoa, I'm out the hood. I'm good. Oh, they said, hell no, you're not. They had this man with a Ted Bundy shirt, pickup truck, parked blocking one of my neighbor's driveway, just to let me know you might have got out the hood, but we got you. And I let them know I ain't playing with y'all either. Like, they dirty. That's what they do. Like, they dirty. And then a big shout out like to my sister. So we go to town meetings. Like, we come prepared. She had all the information about Worley, all the facts where people could fact find. This is what he did. He failed us at Northeast Police District. This victim was under him. The gun tracer, like, she had all the shit. Like, you could look it up. Like, big up thing. Like, when I say she is a beast, she be on them. I be like loving it. Like, yes. So we definitely come, and we come with the truth, and we come on fire. That's how you got to do it. But I want to check in real quick, because we got a lot of comments. Like, the board is blowing up. So either Rachel or Bill, do one of y'all mind reading the comments or questions? Mic check.
Yes, I can finish reading the comments. AC Britt says 100%, Latoya. Hashtag justice for Xavier, hashtag justice for William Green, hashtag justice for Tyrone. Life After Podcast, where can we find it? Dan says, the scary part to me is that they're so transparent. Sorry, and actually Bill posted later where to find it, so that's why I didn't pause. But Dan says, the scary part to me is that they're so transparent with what they're doing. It speaks to the fact that they're comfortable backing the police and thinking that there will be no recourse for doing so. Judah shares the Life After Impact website, so www.lifeaftertheimpact.org. AC Britt says the way that they conduct themselves is the cause for civil lawsuits, and the taxpayers' money is what's used. They don't use police money. Bill also shared the Facebook page for Life After the Impact. AC Britt says, I repeatedly tell these lawmakers, as long as they refuse to pass laws and repeal Leobor that serve to shield dirty cops and gives qualified immunity, the civil cases will continue. They leave us no other recourse. Dan says, the issue about the civil suits is that they want you to sign a gag order to keep your mouth shut. Just like Nikki's saying, they want to make it sound like they're doing you a favor and that they're owed. AC Britt says, Aunt Diane was a warrior queen when dealing with clown-ass Barkley. Bill says, yes, Aunt Diane was sure a warrior queen when Barkley was here and on many other occasions. AC Britt says, yeah, they fill the places up with pigs all of the time. We were locked out of a community town hall just last week. And that's the last comment.
I wanted to say something about the gag orders. If anybody's listening to this and ever have to experience this, you don't have to sign a gag order. I absolutely refuse. I told them absolutely not. I'm not signing anything that stops us from talking. And you should not even legally want us to find something that says we can't talk. You limit us on discussing the criminal trial by doing that. So people, they should definitely refuse to sign, and they can't stop negotiating for that reason. My thing is if they do, take them to court. Because I
think we need to take their attorneys to court too, because my attorneys was pretty much, they're the ones that what they do here in Maryland. with us, well, what they did, because you were in Maryland too, sis. But what they did with us was they have our attorneys break down a non-disparagement clause and let us know, like, before we can even move forward with the negotiation process, that we have to sign it. And that's why I said, take my goddamn name off.
Oh no, I refuse. I was like, absolutely not. I told them we will not be gagged. We will not sign anything that limits us. And the biggest thing is we told them they had to create a task force, and they did create the task force. And here's what they did. And we said we needed to have a voice on the task force, so they knew I was going to be that voice. So what they did, they formed a task force when we were going to start the meeting. Angela also Brooks had her attorneys call Malcolm and them, our attorneys, and say Nikki can't speak. If she does, you're in breach of the agreement. Well, of course, he didn't have the agreement sitting right there with him, so they're calling my name to talk, and he's like, Nikki, I can't look at it right now and see if she's telling the truth. So yeah, they gagged me. So guess what I did? I just went to meeting after meeting, after hearing, and told them exactly what she did. And there's this chick named Josephine, and for the life of me, I can't remember her last name because she irritates me, and I honestly think I suppressed her. But her name is Josephine. She works for whatever organization that Martin Luther King started. I can't remember the name of it right now, but she's just nothing but a minion for the politicians. Like, she works for an organization that's supposed to be like the NAACP for the people, but no, she's Angela's minion and anyone else that'll give her a little bit of props. And she tried to infiltrate a lot of things when it came to us. So in this whole movement, you got to be careful who you trust as well, because people are smiling in your face and be stabbing you in your back.
That part.
Yeah. All these lovely leaders of these organizations that are supposed to be for Black people seem to be for the Black people that are in office, or for the Black people that work for the white people that's funding their bullshit.
Yeah.
So, but they are not for the people. They're not for Black residents. They are not for Black victims, but they send them to smile in our face. So that's the lesson that I learned, is that I need to be careful who I trust. Especially
amen. That part.
This activist community.
That you gotta say that part. The activists, the actors. We have actors in this. We have actors. Y'all,
Yes,
the activists.
Exactly, the activists.
Because I'm telling you, sis, they done, like, I like being in this fight that we never asked for over 542. I done seen them send people to act like they so sweet, and you bond with them, and then you like, oh, they out in this freezing cold with me. We shutting it down, but then you find out why they out there, and then you like, hold up, because I had one guy, like, I thought he was the sweetest elderly guy ever. Like, he was out there. He was like, oh, let me bring the teacher an apple. Like, we was bonding and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then we went up to go shut the officer down at Morgan State University. This joker gonna get lost for an hour. We like, where the hell he going? I'm looking for him. Long story short, he gonna tell me, oh, well, don't go after David Lewis. David Lewis is a good guy. I found one of his comrades. A good guy. This good guy had his goddamn foot choking the life out my goddamn brother. A good guy. I'm going after everybody. And I said that because girl, he blocked me from Facebook. He stopped coming. I said, okay. So now I know they sent you. Okay. They played with me. They played with me. They definitely played with me.
They had their own agendas.
These Angela done sent her people. Another chick named Sheila Bryant, and I hope she hears this. I've had to cuss her out 3 times. Yeah. She's tried to come at me 3 times, and the last time it was not pretty. Like, we're on a meeting and I am going off. I felt bad for the ACLU, but my thing is you came into a meeting where we're talking about something that you're not doing. We're trying to freaking strategize about how to fix what you're not doing, and you come in there and lie. My biggest thing, she would have came in there and been silent. I would have just been more careful about what I said because I know who you're aligned with. But she came in there lying about the PAB. We're doing wonderful things. We're doing this. When I say I cussed her out, I cussed her out. I did not
Yeah,
even
good
understand
for
the
you.
audacity of you coming into a meeting of people that know what the PAB, that knows the PAB better than you, that are impacted. You're going to come here with a bunch of impacted people and people who fought to get this, to reverse Leobor. You're
Wow.
coming to us to tell us about what a great job you're doing when we know you're doing absolutely nothing, because the PAB in Prince George's County has zero power. You can't do nothing. You read the reports and tell them what you think about it, and that's all. Your opinion does not matter, and it does not make a difference. So we know what you do, but don't come in here lying to us. Girl, she better be glad I didn't call her everything under the sun, but she was close to being a stack of bitches, I can tell you that. I was just like, I need you to, yeah, her.
Yes,
I'm okay if I
Queen.
never see her again. Like me and her.
But you know, a lot of times the community, they believe the lies, though. I think oftentimes we are like culturally conditioned to believe these lies they be telling us and stuff, and they come out there and smile in our face and shit, and they're only doing nothing on the background. That's what we're starting to learn at this point in time.
None. They get that money.
Tell us what
they
get that money. That's what it is. They get that money.
They get that money and they fall in line. My thing is if I get into a political office, if I get 2 good years in and can make significant change, I'm done. I'm good. My thing is, we need people who are not trying to be lifetime politicians. They're trying to be the temporary change that we need to get this shit fixed, and then step back and let somebody else. But these lifetime politicians, my thing is, when they go in there and they're trying to stay in there for a lifetime, that means you going in there and you trying to be part of the system.
Right.
You're part of the problem.
Honestly,
at that point, you're then part of the problem.
The only politician in Maryland that I can honestly say that I trust, and I've watched her. Well, there's a couple of them, but one, Jill Carter, is a fighter for us.
Jill Carter, yes.
I like Jill Carter.
Fact.
So I'm going to ride for Jill Carter. And there's a few other ones that I like. And Malcolm Ruff, Malcolm just came a delegate up there with y'all. And Tawanda, if he ain't right, call his ass out, and please let me know, because I'll call his ass out too.
I had no problem.
I already told him.
Yes, I had no problem.
You my dude. I trust him with all my heart. He has stood by our family through everything. But you go up there and you don't fight for us, I'm gonna have a problem with you. So you call him out and be like, I'm doing this for Nikki. Okay?
Yeah. Accountable.
Yes.
But I just think this is just a struggle. Like, sometimes I feel defeated. I feel like, what the hell? Like, is what I'm doing going to even fix anything, going to change? Like, I struggle with that almost daily. And then it's like, I'm just like, how do we fix? I mean, this organization I started that I'm going to finally try to do something with, the nonprofit, is strictly to educate the people. My thing is, like Latoya is doing, I don't care if you got a traffic ticket, you need to show up with an attorney or have an attorney go. Everybody should have an attorney, because all they do is put you in a system and they keep twisting. If I can't afford to get my tail light fixed, what the fuck makes you think I can afford a traffic ticket? Why don't y'all show some heart, take some of that taxpayer money and say, man, do you need help getting your tail light fixed, and take them to AutoZone and pay for that shit? Why don't you be a good public servant?
Get to the root of the problem, man. Get to the root of the problem. And then also, too, it's not just having a attorney. They need to get the right attorneys out here.
Exactly.
Someone said the other day about, they was like, we got a lot of civilized attorneys who take the low-hanging fruit. And when they get the low-hanging fruit cases, they'll take the case, they get their little check, and they out. But as far as the other cases that you got to do, like, real leg work, they don't want to do the damn work. So that's why we can't create case laws. So we can't be qualified immunity. We got to find the right players who are going to be like doing like the right things. And like Elix Wanda said, when people are going to City Hall, how do you teach other people to have that same energy? How do you teach people how to, you said the girl went down there, she knew all the facts about the person they're talking about at the meeting or not. People got to have the same information. Don't go to City Hall just to tell you a little case. No, have some facts. People run down on what the problems are in your city.
And that's why we got to educate the community. Like, for us, I think we got to educate the community. We got to tell them, okay, here's how you can help research your own case, so that you can walk in there. And when your attorney isn't doing right, you can question. You're paying them. They need to do what you need them to do. So here's a resource for you to educate. Like, I would love to put like a resource center in every over police community that gives them financial help, that gives them legal help, that gives them just a way to navigate and improve their life, because I just feel like these are the ways they're killing us with poverty, they're killing us with the law, they're killing us with the different things, and we need to give them resources and to overcome it. And that's my goal. That's my goal, is to put these resources in the police, underserved communities, so that they can find a way. You don't have to move out of your community, but buy in your community and fight for your community. I just think it's just that we need to educate people. I don't want nobody showing my kids get a ticket. You ain't going to court without an attorney. Like,
that's right. That's right. Well, Nikki, I think the community again has to begin building the resources back for the community. We know that the government is not going to put, if they were going to put the resources out, they would have done it by now. The community has to begin stepping up, begin building these resources. Somebody got to step up. Yeah,
but that's what we need to do while we're doing that. What we need to do is we need to take this government money that they're handing out to all these other useless ass and use it for all of our advertising. We need to buy billboards to say donate here, donate this. I may not get your government money for my programs, but I'm gonna use your government money to advertise for my program, to fundraise for my program. How about that?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You may limit how I can use the funds, but nah, you can't limit. There's some things you can't limit.
But again, it's about educating people on how to tap in. People don't know how to tap in to find these resources. And we got to go back to say, hey, sit down. We got to share resources.
We do. Especially in this capitalist society we live in. And it's like, if you ain't selling, it's giving you nothing, man. It's like, I feel like we get blackballed. Like, I feel like right now I'm going through a blackball period, and it's so hard. Like, it's really hard. Not like how Nikki, how Nikki was saying, like how she was feeling. Like, what is this for? Like, I had to climb out of the closet this week, like, because I felt so bad. I just wanted to stay sitting in my closet with the door shut, like crying my eyes out, because this is like, sometimes you ask yourself, like, is it really worth it? You get targeted, you get blackballed, you struggling, you tired. Like, I only have energy to be with my kids, my family. I'm fighting, and then you got to fight sometime with your family members because they don't understand why you out there. Everybody want to tell you to take a break and let it go, and I'm not letting nothing go. It's just a lot. Like, you get tired of fighting everybody. I get tired of it. Like, you fighting for people, and then you fighting, and everybody fighting you. It's just like, God damn, like, it becomes too much at a point. It's just a lot. It's a whole lot.
I had my own lawyer even tell me. I sent him the last check I sent him was for $7,000. Before I sent him the check, he was like, "Now, Latoya, before you do this, some people use that money on something else." And I was like, "Listen, don't tell me how to use my damn money." I said, I know what I got plenty of other bills that I can take this money and use it for. Trust me, I do. You know what I'm saying? But again, and that question goes to my head every single day. Am I doing the right thing? Because I don't know. You don't know. But all we do is keep moving forward, because we're going to keep going forward.
Right. But I'm gonna be the first one, sis, even though it feels like we're not doing the right thing, sis, but we really are. Like, it's a struggle. And I think that's a big sign saying that we got the power, because when they try to fight us on every levels and make us feel like that, I really feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just waiting to see the light. Like, I'm just waiting, and I be giving myself like Lord prayers, because I'm like, I thought November was gonna be my month that I was gonna see like a big change, and there was no change. Like, my change is strange. I ain't see nothing. Like, what the hell? So, like, it's just a lot, but I just really feel like we are the change, and like, people are watching us, we're inspiring people and all that stuff. And if we don't get nothing else out of it, just the fact to show people and educate people on, do not let this go down like that. That's big enough and good enough for me. I don't give a damn. That's good enough for me.
I've had a few moms who I've talked to over the last 2 years who they are coming upon their cases, and they have called me and say, hey, I filed today. And that alone just gives me like a light of, okay, we are doing the right thing. And even those phone calls, I know they could be at a nick of time, but they say, hey, Toya, I was calling to let you know I got a press conference going on. You can't come, but I want you to know we're filing today. I didn't give up. Just those words that I did not give up lets me know we're doing the right thing.
Amen.
And people, anyone who questions why you spending that money or why you're doing this, what's more important than the people you love?
Right.
That's right.
Say that part, Nikki. That part.
Exactly.
That part.
My thing is, whatever materialistic that you can spend that money on it's not gonna fix your heart. It's not gonna bring that. It's not gonna do anything
Nothing.
to change
Right.
what happened to your loved one. So what's more important than them?
Nikki, I tell you all the
Right.
time, what's the difference between if Xavier would have survived his gunshot wounds, right?
Mhm.
I would have to still take care of my son. So I'm gonna still, you know what I'm saying? Xavier might not be here in a physical form, but I'm gonna still take care of my child.
Exactly.
Amen. Amen. That's right.
Because you were still
That's
Zay's
right.
mom forever.
I'm still his
Yeah.
mother forever.
Yeah. And he know that, and he looking down, and he's so proud of his mother. And that's the only thing like about life. We got to remember that no matter what, like nothing we're doing is in vain. And I believe this. My belief is not West Coalition. It's my belief. I believe that we will once again, and we will embrace them with a big hug, and they gonna just like we just gonna
Yes.
rejoice, because I feel like, I feel like we're kind of living in how, like, even though life is good, but fighting like this and feeling this type of pain in our body, and the stuff that we're forced into situations that we cannot change, the only thing we can do is fight and just keep pushing. That's torture. That's fucking torture. Excuse my language. That is torture. I feel like we in hell right now just waiting to get to heaven. Like, that is freaking torture. Like, you get, like, nobody asks, like, if you like have something horrible to happen to your family member or anything, or like an innocent being took, anything, you have to deal with that shit and just move on. That's horrible. That is terrible. You have to deal with, you just have to just push some stuff to the side and just brace up and cry it out, and vomit and do all this type of stuff, but you still got to live through horrible stuff. That's terrible. You being abused and neglected and all disrespected, everything, you got to live through it. That's hell. That's hell. I'm sorry. That's hell. But I want to check in. I want to check in. This is real good, powerful, and I love you guys so much. I want to check in on the lines. I'm looking at the time. It's 9:02 now. I want to check in to see if we have any more questions or comments or thoughts before we actually go to our sad list. But I just want both of y'all to know that I love y'all. Y'all inspire the hell out of me, and y'all got a whole lot of people that's cheering y'all on. And I just like, I'm telling you, y'all forced to reckon with. Like, I just love it. Like, I love it. Like, oh my God, I just love it. So I want to check in with Rachel. Do you mind reading the questions or thoughts or comments?
No problem. So the next one is AC Britt says all of the PABs are toothless. Bill Bleich says the points being made about misleaders are on point. The ruling class tries to send us down the wrong passive road whenever they can. AC Britt says, yes, Nikki, say it. Judah says, I love that idea. Win a term in office and go all in with no concern for re-election. It might not be enough time, but so much of that time is spent running for re-election anyway. And then says, Nikki, we have LaToya's website. How can we support you?
You guys, I don't have a website yet. I have been, because this case has kept me busy as hell. So I started my organization. I got my nonprofit status, but honestly, I've done very little. So 2024 is when I'll get everything up, and I'll definitely be sending that to everyone.
Awesome. Yeah, so I just want to let you guys know, like, I love you. We going to go into this part that I don't. First of all, I want to ask Rachel, or if Bill's still in queue, or Brian that's in queue, to read the sad list and whatnot. Is there anything that they personally want to ask you before we go on to reading the sad list? We always do a thing where we read the community violence, or unsolved, as I say, unsolved murders in our city, and then we do it from a national level for the police brutality. So I just want to check in with anybody now to see if they want to say anything, or do you ladies want to say anything before we move on and close out? Mic check.
Well, this is Bill. I just want to say, if any of you have doubts about the value of what you're doing, you inspire me and many other people. And I think that everything you do counts, and that's true for all of us listening as well. And we should never give up.
Thank you, Bill.
Absolutely.
I'm sending you a big hug right now, Bill.
Thank
Yes,
you.
big hug, big hug. No, I just want to say real fast before you move on, Tawana, just
Sure.
everybody could just please just tap in on Tuesdays to Life After the Impact at 9 p.m. to find out about just other stories as well, how we can work collectively together on how to fight for justice. And thank you, Tawanda, as
Absolutely.
well, for having us on tonight.
Oh no,
Yeah.
thank you
I have to
guys.
say,
'Cause
I have to say one more thing about Life After Impact. I love it. But Toya will throw you under the bus with all these church people coming on there talking, y'all. She will bring on them church people and be like, come on, come listen. She already know how I feel about them church folks, okay? I love the show. Life After Impact is a beautiful show. It's informative and it's inspiring. It's definitely a very inspiring show. And she's given a voice to a lot of people who need it.
Thank you, Nikki.
And I love you too, Tawanda. You are doing a beautiful job. You guys are definitely some of the most beautiful queens that I love and admire. So.
Tawanda, are you there?
I was trying to read the statement. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear
Hello?
you. We can hear you, Fonda, now.
So if I quick question, because I was trying to like switch my screen to read the statement, but if it go out again, Bill, I will send you the statement and you can read it if it go out again from my device. I'm gonna try one more time to see what happens. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It is our mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily using force, and we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to uplift their names from a place of respect and care. We obtained the list of names of those shot and killed by the police and those lost to community violence from national and local news outlets. We know that there are by no means exhausted lists, that gun violence isn't the only way.
You went out again, Tawanda.
Y'all hear me now? So we do not get all the details about all the cases that we read about. So we're not trying to disrespect anyone. So yeah, that's pretty much our disclosure list. And yeah, so I'll bring Brian, if Brian is on, to read the community violence list. I'll hand it over to him. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, Tawanda. This week we have a short list, but nonetheless a tragic list. And so I'm going to uphold just one name, and I'm going to ask you to echo it back and just, dedicate yourselves to making this a list of zero, and dedicate your thoughts and your prayers to the family of this person and their friends. So in memory of the life of John Murphy, 23.
John Murphy.
John Murphy, 23.
23.
Thank you.
Thank you. And before I bring Uncle Bill on with the police brutality list, I wanted to say, because when my phone cut out, I got a little thrown off, but I just want us to take 1 minute. If you pray, you can say a prayer. If you don't, that's fine. Just say nothing but positive vibes for the name that you just heard and the names that you will hear, and even the ones that we won't even hear tonight. Just, stand in solidarity with us for peace and change. So the time now is 9:10. We'll come back at 9:11. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
All right, thank you guys so much. The time now is 9:11. The floor is all yours, Uncle Bill. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Good evening, everyone. Before I read the names of people killed by the police most recently, I want to mention that on the Life After the Impact site, it points out that so far in 2023, as of November 29th, that's when this was posted, so far this year, 1,082 people have been killed by the police. And the new names that I'm going to announce now, the new victims of police killing, they're from the period December the 4th through December the 7th, so about 3.5 days. And in that period, they killed 8 more people. We ended last week talking about the death in Idaho Falls, Idaho, of a 34-year-old man. He was not named at that time, but he has been since. So the first person we're going to uphold this evening is Marcos Cortez.
Marcos Cortez.
Marco Cortez.
That was December the 4th. On the following day, on December the 5th, in Lubbock, Texas, the police killed a 34-year-old Manuel Gillian.
Manuel Gillian.
Manuel Gillian.
Again, on December the 5th, in Manchester Township, New Jersey, this was a man whose age is not given and whose name has not yet been announced.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
On December the 5th again, this time in Bellevue, Washington, 44 years old, killed by police, Joseph Asia.
Joseph Asia.
Yet again on December the 5th, this time in Canton, Ohio, 24 years old. And I should mention they happen to note on this list that he was carrying a replica weapon. Sounds like the police killing of the 12-year-old case we all remember. This man's name is Zachary Fornash.
Zachary Fornash.
And on December the 6th, this time in Portland, Oregon, 27 years old, killed by police, Isaac Seavey.
Isaac Seavey.
Once more on December the 6th, this time in Armory, Mississippi, 22 years old, killed by police, Shaquan Cribbs.
Shaquan Cribbs.
And the last person we'll uphold was killed by police in Whitmore, South Carolina. They say that it was a man, but no age is yet given, and he is at this point unidentified in the press.
Cell blocks.
Cell block killer cops.
Ashe. And that concludes this horrible list. We look forward to a day when we won't have any such list.
So I just want to, first of all, thank both of my beautiful queens for joining us. Nikki and Latoya, thank you guys so much. And it's just sad that we are forced to pretty turn our pain into a passion, and a passion for just changing life and saving life, and just knowing that we're not going to stop until we get accountability. We don't care how long it takes, because when you snatch a loved one away, did the research and the homework not only on our loved one, but you should have did the research on us. You should have did the research on us, and to know that we will never ever stop fighting for accountability, not just for our loved ones, but for all the loved ones, and educating the community on what to do, and not just the community, the world, because unfortunately, this is a worldwide. Because if it was a place safe to go to this world, that I'd be safe from racism and all that foolishness, me and my family would have packed up a long time ago. But however, there's not. And like my brother Boone said, we all we got, we all we need, and we're gonna keep on fighting. Sell blocks for killer cops. And the fact that you keep letting these repeat violent maniacs out while they are pretty much with their family celebrating the holiday cheer and celebrating any day, because loved ones is a holiday to us. We would give anything to have them back at the end of our table, at the head of our table. We would do anything. But however, you took that away from us. But you will never take the love and the passion. You will never ever take that away from us. We're going to continue on fighting. So if you can, tune into my sister's podcast on Tuesday and just continue on following us. And we will be out streets next week. So I know when and where. So remember, live to love, love to live. I love you all. Where we brought you, unfortunately, victims that was pretty much assaulted, brutalized. Unfortunately, after mother was killed, he was the third one that, they pretty much murdered. And we don't even know if they murdered other people. We know about the assault and everything like that. But continue on watching this awful video. And I keep saying we're going to update this video, but I promise you by definitely 2024, we will update it, because now, Marilyn Mosby is no longer in office. So now it's pretty much on Alvin Bates. What are you going to do with the knowledge? Anthony Brown, what are you going to do with the knowledge that's going on in my brother's case? We need answers, and we need more than answers. We need accountability, and not just for my brother, but we need it for William Green. We need it for Xavier. And we demand accountability, because there is no justice. It's just us trying to hold folks accountable. So live to love to live. I love you all. Please stay tuned for the final portion of this horrible video. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges, like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardes Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.